All right. Hey. What's going on, people? Today we chose a different location. We sat by the library today. Maybe the library dropped a little bit of the knowledge inside of me or something like that. But I wanted to get on here today. I just got finished watching um, Lynn, and I caught up with him for about 5 or 6 weeks. It had been about 5 or 6 weeks. I watched every single one up until his last one. I think it was maybe 2-3 days ago, maybe even 4 days ago. And then and no, not and then, stopping inside of there because Lynn, he sees a lot. Lynn's eyes, we're back on the eyes and everything again. And so it made me go ahead and think about that's not just at times and everything that I didn't pick up to listen to him, because just contemplation. We need breaks, see things that are there and then things that are not there, and go back to see what kind of point of views that different people might have and everything. Maybe we saw them wrong, and even at the same time, like today is like the 9th month, and the first day, the 91. You know what I'm saying? And flipping it, of course, is 19. So I was looking at dispensation of time and stuff, and also in which where I'm actually located at up there, and in the day, as I was talking to the OG, also a little bit earlier today, and in which I was dropped off there, and it was actually April and everything is when I started there, so it's actually like 19 months. 19 months. And remember, we're sharing with you like 19 years has been that of a generation. That's a generation. At the same time, 9-1 is also that 91 angels. 91 angels in the Greek actually equals 91. And in each of the four, as we're talking about the earth, okay? Earth signs, 4 watchtowers. The earth watchtower, is one. We got the water watchtower. We have the fire watchtower. And we have the air watchtower. So in each of the watchtowers, there's also 91 angels. And in the story of David, when he actually took off and everything, he took his parents to that one of the watchtowers in Moab, and he took his parents there because he was on the run from Saul and everything. Saul was trying to smash David out, so he took off. But before he took off, he actually went ahead and put his parents up inside the watchtower. So, in a sense, this has been like a watchtower, and people been watching. You know what I mean? People been watching for real. And so I was looking as I was coming down. Was crazy as I was coming down through the alleyway. The first alleyway I went through, no, the second one. This dude was talking to some lady and everything, and the lady, as she was leaving, he said, "What's your name?" She goes, "My name is Rosemary." Okay. So I was like, "Damn!" It tripped me out and everything, because of course, Rosemary is kind of like a common name, but I was also thinking on coming into there because, especially jumping on here, with different people that I've met along the way, along inside of here. And, Rosemarie triggered the remembrance, the memory on that of her mother, Nisha, my half sister. And even in two cases and everything, well, even three, I got to go ahead and say three. Well, even angels was one of the pictures and everything that I saw going into my last wife, Rena's house, and she had an angel up there, and she's a Taurus. She's a Taurus Gemini. She's on the cusp and everything. So that brought a little memory, triggered one. And then, going back, Nisha is actually Aries. So she's at the first of the zodiac house there, which the ram and so forth, underneath the fire watchtower. And so looking at that, coming out, she made it a point to when I got out of prison, that I got out exactly on her birthday, 2016. And that was April 2nd. Got a horn. April 2nd, 2016. And during Lynn's, one of his videos, he goes ahead and speaks on respect. He speaks on respect in one of the videos. I'm not sure which one. And he even went on to, as far as like when you're around different people and everything, sometimes you're quiet, sometimes, you're different around different people. And so, whether it be, he also, spoke on the 33, whether it be the third, and the first, even we'll have William the First, William the Second, William the Third, in this family that I was born into right now, Eugene Brown, Eugene Senior, Eugene Junior, Eugene the Third, and he was actually a 5'5", just like Trevor, which is also a Taurus, and 5'5" meaning May 5th, so he's really 5'5", So I had the Taurus from Rena, Taurus from Damien is Taurus, okay, and Damien means omen, which actually could be good, because we have Damians, which are in a pool of Salam, just a healing pool and so forth, which they stirred up in the pool of Bethesda, I believe it was. And he's a healing, and actually he had the hands to actually do it. He had the hands to do it, he had the charisma, he had the energy and all that stuff, but we all do what we do with our energy and everything. And so he was a Taurus. Okay, then we had that of Eugene, he's born on May 5th, he's a Taurus. Rena, May 21st, she's a Taurus. Along with Furman on the 21st as a Taurus. And so with all the different Tauruses that's been inside of my life, underneath the earth right there, Damien was a hustler. He was just a hustler, street hustler and everything. Money went in, went out and everything. Eugene didn't really have he didn't go upstairs to go ahead and calculate and so forth. He just liked the nice things. All of them like nice things. Damien didn't take care of him. Eugene took care of him, but he didn't necessarily know how to multiply it. He didn't know he wasn't business savvy. Even when I went and got to CMOS and everything, I wanted him to go ahead and show or be with, as they learn together with his daughter, to go ahead and make, I was under the impression, of course, over in Tanzania, I'd be going back, and so therefore we could hook up, link up, and and speak on how his daughter Johnny was actually learning the business process of selling CMOS as they were probably going to be doing over there. When I was over there, Trevor had you know told me about the CMOS, so I went ahead and figured that he would go ahead and do the same thing over there. So we have a little liaison, across the world. But he wasn't business savvy to go ahead and implement that. And so going back to Nisha and all of them along the respect, to include Trevor and everything, the respect wasn't there. And like I said, a lot of people, especially with Damien and Eugene and Nisha, they were showy. They were showy. They like to go ahead and put, pop the collar, this, that type of shit, and showy and everything. And even with Nisha, she started out with a good business savvy, but because of, going back to Rosemarie, because of what happened with Eugene Jr., the molestation and so forth, that I didn't even realize until later on as I'm actually paying for the abortion. Okay? So it fucked her up. It messed her up and everything. Yet she still went on to go ahead and make Nisha's little buddies and different little things dealing with children along the way. You can actually still look it up on YouTube and see some of the things she actually did with them. But it was at one time she was in Sacramento, and one of Damien's girlfriends, Heather, had some property and had a shopping center, and told her to come on up there and start a franchise up there, with her. And so she did. And so, matter of fact, Sacramento News came and gave her an interview, and you could tell that she wasn't comfortable, she in her deliverance and everything. She wasn't just herself, just authentic about her business. I mean, she loved it. I mean, if you're loving something, you're authentic. I mean, but she wasn't. Not to say she wasn't authentic. She wasn't comfortable in front of the camera at all. And this, I'm sure it takes a lot of people to get comfortable, but it also comes inside of your authenticity. If you're doing yourself, if you're being yourself, not just doing yourself, but you're being yourself, then that's what's going to resonate. That's what people are going to see it, even attract to even want to come in. Hey, be business, do some business with you and everything. And so when I got here, I also saw, and 19 months ago is when I started picking up on this tarot stuff and coming inside of there. That's when I came in there to Miss Linda. You know what I'm saying? Miss Linda too. And I had been through a couple people as far as, I saw one girl was too young, was Aya, I think she started off with something like that. Chapters for cancers. Miss Pick Me, Bee Priestess, Pick Me. And everybody had all kinds of different things going on, with agendas, different things going on. And then even with Miss Linda, we started out, I'm thinking she had said, hey, I'll help you out. Okay? So I'm watching and everything. I'm just watching, And so what did grab me that was different than all the other Tauruses, that's to include, besides Furman, okay, was her person and in front of the camera and so forth and everything. She did, have a, the platform is there, and she's being herself to the, where we're at inside of life. You know, whatever she was doing, she's done well. Everybody on these platforms, wherever we're at, we're doing well to the degrees in which we've put into, whether it be inside of the tarot or even inside of ourselves as people, you know, and inside of there, that even after, I think even after her is what prompted me to go ahead and even to jump on there too. Okay, because I didn't start it until inside of here. Now I did a few before, but because of the different transactional relationships and transitions that I was in inside of my walk, or my in this journey, it wasn't to get on there at the time. I still had to get acclimated, so to speak. And so I went ahead and jumped inside and started that. And one thing she did bring me, the ex-wife, she brought me my singing bowl. And like a dummy, I'm sitting up here, I'm opening up with it, and I'm twirling it, getting the sound up and everything to open up with it. But I'm closing my eyes at the same time, and I didn't have it sturdy, and it cracked. It cracked. And I was fucking, And lo and behold, Miss Linda, she actually goes ahead. Next thing you know, she brings out all the damn sound bowls, And so, I was like, it jabbed me in the side and everything a little bit because of, damn, not in the sense that in any type of jealousy, but damn, I wish I still have my sound bowl and everything, but I'm seeing how, the progress, whether it was a reflection or, what, to add, like I said, we lend things to each other, we grow, and even we grow in maturity along the way from those broken pieces that I even have right there. The broken pieces made me grow inside a little bit more. Go inside a little bit more. And so anyways, looking at everything right now, 19 months later, right? Now 19 is also the numerical value of our DNA. DNA, or and A and D, is also that of our DNA. So that's growth. So 19 months also is that of growth. And no matter where we were, like even 19 months right now, even with whether it be the ex-wife, okay, or even to the point, because the family also know where I was at that point in time, 19 months ago. So whatever growth they have gone through, or not, that's again up to them. But right now, because it is the year 9, okay, it is the year 9, and this is the 9th, and we get 2 chances to make it up. We get 2 chances and everything, right? Why? Because this is the Gregorian calendar. This is September, but it's the 9th month, but it's really the 7th month. But we can look at it in this way. Being if you look at it in the 7th month, 7 actually means Zayin, which is eye again, ocular, right? And it also means sword. So we can go ahead and take that serpentine spine we have, our serpent, if we setting up correct, if we're correcting some of our posture, some of the things that we probably learned along the way, some of the things that hindered us from even, shooting out further, then we can go ahead and take that S and put it into words. That sword, the pen is always mightier than the sword, regardless. As the victors write the history and everything. So if we're going to be writing our life or rewriting as even the overwriter and especially the underwriter, you know, then we would have had to go ahead and straighten up a little bit, straighten it up just a little bit. And like I said, even in Aries, okay, Aries, to balance things out, we got to, okay, uh, balance things out. Aries and Libra is going to be libraries, okay? It's the library. This is where I'm at right now, libraries. And that is opening up these books that are inside of us. That's opening up our books that are inside of us. And you can actually go, because I was actually had to look it up the other day when I was looking inside of the TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, and we're looking at the spine itself, and then we're looking at the dew points and the T points and everything, okay? And the T, what is it called? I can't even remember right now what the T stands for, but the dew is the dew vessel and everything, which is the governing vessel and so forth right now. But it's along the spine here. We got four meridians that go down our back, and so what happens is one is between the spine, and that's called the T. I forget what the actual word is right now. I should have actually gone over today. But so we have these points and everything, and in order for us to do, which are the dew points, which are the governing vessels. Okay, and when we go ahead and do that, then all of these libraries, Aries also means levels of what? Even books, even new levels, new devils. But that's even within ourselves and everything. We again we get to certain places and everything to where hey we feel good. We might want to pop the collar and everything, or at least all right, give ourselves some some dap and shit along the way because we've achieved some things and what I was looking at, and I was going back to the generation of DNA, right? Okay, and also with the 91 or the 19, which would you go back to the angels and see everybody's an angel. Everybody's an angel. I'm talking about, in as far as like even a messenger. So it depends on what it is that we open our ear up to or our eyes. Okay, and that's even like I say. Our eyes, we open our eyes up to, and then we close them. You know what I'm saying? We can keep them closed all day long, or we can open them up. It's up to us, to different things, especially if you're going on the inside. And the reason why I said we started on the inside first, because even that of the oracle, which still happens to be my name, Devere, they started on the inside first in order to building that building. Okay, that was the first cubics. Everything was given that to the oracle, which transcends all of the different books and everything. The I Ching is called the oracle. We go over to Yoruba and everything. Everything is the same thing with the cowrie shells and so forth. We go over to India. Is Ma'at, which is the temple. It's inside. It's still the oracles and so forth and everything. And in order to go ahead and open those up and everything, again, like I said, we got to go through the different libraries, levels within even in our temple first and foremost, in order for it to level up outside. And I haven't been able to go ahead and track a lot of people, because everybody's been doing what they do, where they at, and a lot of people are still out of sight, one person that I can go ahead and look at and see is Miss Linda, out of all the people I'm sitting here talking about. And she shot up inside of, from, I think she might have had 80, 100, hit 2, bubble. Same thing with Jay Hadin, the same thing with, no matter how, it doesn't necessarily matter how, and that's not up to me to say how, but the thing of sustaining, because many people we go through, like even say when we got to, we out here in the streets and everything, we got to get the hustle on, we got to wash that money somehow and make it black, make it black, not red, So opening up businesses or whatever the thing that is we have to do, or even invested into somebody that a business and so forth, to where it will actually wash itself. This is how this place is, how America, a lot of people, all these countries were built in a general sense. It's just knowing when to actually go do it, and if you even take that route. If you even take that route, because a lot of people don't necessarily take that route, but a lot do, Back to the dew points again, Okay. And so what I was looking at is going back to like I said, the 91. So back to the DNA, the 19. So going back to Rosie too, coming down the alley. And so as we are growing, a lot of the things that we might go through in life, like Rosie, she didn't have her father there. Matter of fact, because the relationship with Nisha, or it might have been him, and I'm not going to go back and forth with it on that. I'm just going to say either or, because we all have a play inside of everything. Maybe she knew what she was doing, maybe she didn't. Okay, that's up to her. That's up between her and her and her higher self, and then that of, the Most High. Rosie didn't grow up with her father, okay? And they did get it in the line, in the thinking mode of Eugene Jr. Because it came out in Rosie's mouth as far, I don't care who got first. And this was also that of Nisha, because me and Mama had said, hey, I don't want your dad to go with her no matter what. I don't want to live with him. So whatever happened, between them, I didn't even get the full on that, but that was whatever happened is what happened, And looking at her face, like I said, she had 2 drooping cheeks, because she had a stroke on one side. I remember one time, and then when she came back this last time, both was droopy. They both were droopy, and that's what the burial. Even like I said, kicked me out the house with all the little, the whole little scene there. You could see all that, and so I actually wonder how she's actually doing right now. How she's looking right now. And even as we have come along this way right this far, with even just the last 19 months. Last 19 months, because we're getting ready to hit this last quarter right now. So especially if we don't do it this on the 7th right here, the 9th, which is 9 months, then we still have the real 9th, and that's November. And what I was looking at, the reason why I brought Rosie up and birth, and the same thing happened with her second child, Mariah Rose. Father didn't stay, and all that stuff too. And Paul was cool. I got to meet Paul. Paul was cool as fuck. Okay? And each of us have gone through many different things inside of our life, with or without parents, whether it be a step or even inside of the gang, or whatever the thing is. We go through many different phases and so forth. And but even regardless of all that, right now is also, even today, 9/1. We can switch because you're the angel, I'm the angel, and we can switch and think about the DNA. Okay, the DNA. And what I saw right now inside, because I saw what happened with Nisha, and we're looking at it. We got to look at our age too, where we're at. The vitality, because you want to grow with your child. You want to grow with your child. Okay, and listen and learn from the child. And so, what I was looking at inside of Linda and everything, is that I don't know what, people say this, people can say that, people, only we know what the heck we're doing. But what I was looking at, as far as, I did go back and look at a few of the titles and, listen to them. I'm going to go watch a few to see even, the orientation and just the whole vibe off of it. But what I was looking at is that, from what I can see, if it's there, again, we don't know until we actually see a person and feel a person in person, because, hey, this thing right here, it can lie, okay? It can lie. It can help you to lie, okay? But from what I can see, also, people have grown. Everyone has grown and everything, to degrees and everything. But what I can see, particularly with her, is that to have a child. Now, if I can remember right, she was maybe in a relationship, even, I gotta assume, with a woman, because one time she has said men should be an option, So, and hey, that's up there, everybody's choice on that. And they might have a child and so forth, from what I had gathered, and might be wrong on that, within relationship, within a relationship right there. And, or the relationship may be gone, who knows? I have no idea. But what I can see is that this time in her life, I think that she would actually soar. One would think to have a child would be more work, and especially if you focused in on your work. If you're focused in on your work, but if you've always focused in on your work, and it's at a certain level, and you have to still look at your age, because what happens is, see, with a child, you bring in, first of all, you're going to have the generation. When a mother has a child, she has the seed of the grandmother. You have the seed of yourself, okay, and then you have the seed of the child, and then the child is going to have the seed of you, and the seed is going to be implanted for her to go ahead and have the grandchild. So that's a triad of wisdom that's ignited, and a lot of women can't have children. And so a lot of the time, so what happens when we have the children, man and women, we have the children, whether we're even with them or not, because we have brought life, we completed a commandment to be fruitful and multiply. And in that process, even of the pregnancy, all of those things are going to change. Wisdom is dropped back into you from our higher self, and that of the Creator, okay? Of the Creator is dropped back into us. Is spiraling in us, literally spiraling in us as the child. Even, like I say, whether we look at in the human form, or if we go back to the aquatic, like I said, the sunfish produce what? 300,000 eggs. And then the male seahorse and sea dragon and pipefish. Okay, but the seahorse out of those three right there delivers 200,000. No, not 200,000. 2,000. 2,000. So that is showing how, in the male aspect, when we have children, how, but again, those children are left to be by their own, left on their own to grow. They don't go back and nourish them. But because we nourish them here, even the nourishing, the milk, all of that whole process is going to, and then when the baby come out, you're going to be learning what was actually said, and we might put it into the gaga goo goo, into the, even as we watching Doc right now, what I'm saying right now, even as we watching Tarot Doc with the cat, okay, that the cat brings life even more, and she brought it there to grow with us. So that is what came to me as far as from Ms. Linda to I don't know where she's at with relationship, but to go ahead and think about that very seriously right now, because this is the year 9 for one. This is the 9th month. And then we do have another 9 right there. We got 3 chances right now in the general sense, even that, but that's 1940 being the 9th month of the 9th zodiac sign of the Chinese calendar. But it's still in the level 37 on the clock. Wow. Still on the level of that 37 times 18 is 666, huh? Yeah. And which we're talking about 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, which is basically the 9 flipped back over, 3999. So between now, and I'm not, of course, there's no timetable on when if one is even in a relationship. But between now and September, these are vitality gates. And we know that September's vitality gate, okay? Libra when it hit, and then Libra is Libra, okay? So between now and November are some serious gates and everything. I guess I don't even know what it's called, cupping season actually starts and everything, but it should start pretty close. Pretty close. And so if one is inside of that relationship, these are the months in which, we've harvested, you know what I'm saying? And seeds are being planted and everything also. Seeds are being planted. So just something to think about and everything. And the crazy thing about it is, like with Nisha, and this is the whole thing that blew me out the water with her. She doesn't know this. I never got to tell her this. But my sister, she's the most beautiful fucking sister. I was like, damn, that's my sister. You know what I'm saying? I'll beat motherfucker up and down for my fucking sister. Period. Okay? Whether and to hear that she was hurt because my mom did go ahead and shave her head down low, but she was hurt in that essence because everybody was wearing beads and long hair and and braids and all that stuff, and she didn't necessarily couldn't do it. And that's because my mom shaved it down. But even with the bald head, she was the baddest motherfucking damn. Even at her age, at the fucking school, all of that shit. My sister was bad as fuck. Period. Flaw, body, everything. And so, like I said, it didn't hit me when it hit me that what had happened and everything after I took out to go ahead and get the that abortion and everything that fucked me up. it fucked me up, and she was already in another fucking lane, and I was even hesitant to go to even take her. You know, this one dude, Harvey White, to put her in. I was hesitant to all of that shit, but I was gone already, so I just went ahead and, you know, let shit go, and I was like only fucking 19 or 20 myself. You know what I'm saying? 19, I think at the time, but Beauty, I didn't know she was mentally saying, hey, she didn't think she was smart or some shit like that. But, Eugene, he always used to say, as far as negative type of stuff, and didn't help nobody with homework and none of that shit either. He's out here taking us to his girlfriend's house, and we just, there's all kinds of shit going on. All kinds of shit. So a lot of people got lost mentally in the sauce and everything. They weren't of age to grasp a lot of shit that, neither was I, but, I still paid attention. And even, even as far as going, looking on here, with everybody that I had saw, as far as the platforms up to even to that point and everything, same thing. Linda, bad as fuck. I was like, damn, she really got it. Okay, cool. Wow, and again, we going back to our how we was raised. We're all going through all kinds of different things. Whether it's, again, she, as Nisha, even had to please the father there, to please the mother there, or not please the mother there, or not please the father, and then some of us grow up underneath the family tree, in which we are pleasing because it's what's been done and so forth and everything, and it's still not necessarily our authentic selves. It's not necessarily our authentic selves, because it's even at every stage, we're still learning ourselves. We're learning ourselves. So we can't be too hard on ourselves. Okay? At all. At the same time, we got to give God push, because interest times rate times the time, and that diamond, that cold, the pressure is on what's going to bring that diamond. Okay? What's going to bring that diamond. And yeah. So I'm just using these as an example because, like I say, going through, and this is what really got me. And this was ignorance on my part. Okay? As I looked inside of there to see, I've always known that Scorpio was, the number one candidate that for Cancer to be united with, and that was my first wife. So when I had these relationships, I said, Scorpio, even the doctor that fucked up my feet, okay, that messed up my feet, gave me all these shots inside it, she was a Scorpio. So I had 2 experiences with Scorpios oh my goodness. They literally wanted my souls fucked up. My soul here, and then the soles of my 2 feet, done by Scorpios. Straight. Okay? Straight. So I didn't even look even to see how the compatibility was, how deep it was, even with the Scorpio. And still haven't done it. Why? Because I even looked at the experiential knowledge. I received the experiential knowledge from that shit. And ignorantly, I went ahead also. I didn't even look at that with that of Taurus, even with my ex-wife. And when I look today, it's a strong compatibility, and the reason why I didn't do that, because every male Taurus that I had met, to include my ex-wife, which, like I said, she grew a beard. So she was in that masculine too, has been all bad. So I never even looked into that, but to even look and see the compatibility to where, we like the same things. Well, as far as the feminine, but she was not healthy. The ex-wife, she was not healthy. But that of the Taurus with the healthy, with the compatibility of Cancer, was a fucking win-win. It was a fucking win-win. You know, and even in both cases, whether it was my wife or that of Linda, when I met them, I had already started wrapping my mind around where I thought the strengthening would be. Okay, now they have their whole, and I've done that with even both brothers. Matter of fact, when I came back, I'm the one who went ahead and got the apartment to where it's like a lot of the people come here who do not have, from different countries and everything. Stay in one apartment, 20 motherfuckers inside of one apartment and everything, and say, okay, Beto, it's your turn. You're going to go ahead and get the car, okay? And then Lito, you're going to get it next time. Rafa, you're going to get it next time, okay? Mariela, you're going to get it the next time, okay? And then everybody get the car. Then everybody go ahead and get get the house. So I started that with the little brothers, but what did they do? They don't even stay at the motherfucking house. They still stay out at the female's house, and stay out there all during the motherfucking night. And, they're not necessarily thinking about bringing in the money to motherfucking stack it. They're not thinking about it. I started that shit. And that's when I got the 48 too. Got a nice apartment looking over the fucking ocean and all that shit too. And none of them fucking, but they wasn't there with it. Was not there with it, And so what I'm saying that's because when I meet people, I see where, in what do you call it? In high school, ran track, and I could play all the events, all the events because I put points on the board. They called me the utility guy, I'll put Bo in over here. Okay, Bo got triple jump, long jump, high jump, 20, what do you call it? 220, 100, 440. Put Bo. Okay, Bo, I put my points up. Wasn't really 100 person, but 220. I put my points up, and so we utilize. I get in and see their strengths, and then get in, and then we work things around it. So even this right here, as I'm doing this right now, I had started wanting to do this with the ex-wife. She had another agenda, Same thing with this Linda. I had started devising different things, and hey, everybody, we all had different agendas. You know what I'm saying? And everyone that I had met that I thought that had that we would actually be able to go ahead and function, that we would function whether as a business. Now I wasn't even looking at the love angle on it, and those are plausibility, but we're just looking at the business aspect of things, and so. Yeah. So, again, back to the thing of like year 9, this 9th month, because it's we're gonna be in 10 in a minute, and it's starting all over again, and as these, matter of fact. In 2024, when I did the zodiac for all of the people that were on a billionaire, level and everything, for 2024, it was Cancer, Gemini, Leo, Libra, for billionaires, when it got down to watch out for debt, you know, not that you would go into it, but to watch out. Believing inside of that, Taurus was in there. Taurus and the Aries was in there. Okay, Aries was in there, and so, you know, whether it be the fluctuation of it, you know, because different things that we would put ourselves into or not think out clearly all the way out, you know, and when you do that is to have someone that's a sounding board, not just where you're just taking the direction and everything, because they might have an agenda too that we might have to adhere to, you know. So you have to have different people set up in different places and everything in order to go ahead and really get a good. I don't say plan A, plan B, plan C, because that's too much energy going into all these setting up all these plans. But if there are different streams of income, then it's simply plan A, plan A, plan A, and we're just modifying those along the way. It never changes. We'll modify it and say, okay, let's stop this one, as like Molly was saying, writing a book. Okay, we didn't rush it, but if something kept going and it went up there, then it stopped at a certain point, you know, the thought form, bam, we'll go ahead and stop right there, and then this right here, we're coming in, might have an ancestor bringing some stuff in, and this shit just flows. Okay, then we come back to that one and finish that one up, and if it stops again, all right, then we might have another one that come in, or idea we get off of somebody, and then that one come in and it just flows. So even that first one we start might be the last one we actually get back to, you know. So it's like, it's got to be like water. We got to be like water. We got to be like in flow, where the gates of vitality actually open up to. That's what we got to do. And yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and get on here today because as this is the 91st, the first 9-1, and we are all angels. So angel to angels. Okay, wanted to get on here and pass that along because this is the gate. These are the gates right now that we're inside of. And tomorrow say me paro, 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 paro. Okay. I set my jefita and let her hold down. That's playing. No, I'm not playing. That's how the song goes, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we are our own semi-parón. Tú, okay, ons. Ella, ese, pato locos, crazy motherfuckers, and those of you are serious, serious about the shit, or about whatever it is we actually put in our mind to. Okay. Mind, body, and soul, to include all three souls, feet too, you know. And hey, we got a double hunk on that one. Did you hear that? Got a double hunk on that. So with that one right there, I'm actually gonna go ahead and leave us out of here. Get up out of here. All right, you guys take care. Don't miss these gates. These are our own vitality gates right now, okay? Be fruitful and multiply, and we shall chat with you. Go ahead and go back to CC whenever we feel like it, okay? Good job.